Welcome to the Got Invention Show. I'm your host, Brian Freed, and our guest is the creator of Pillow Pets. Her name is Jennifer Telfler. Welcome to the show, Jennifer. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Wow, look at that. Look at that display behind you. Unbelievable. Let me take a quick look at that.
Yeah, we've made
Whoa.
a lot of pillow pets throughout the years.
Those are all yours. Unbelievable. So, Jennifer, why don't you start off by telling us who you are, where you're from, and how you came up with the Pillow Pets idea?
So, hi, my name's Jennifer Telfer. I'm from Orange County, California. I come from a family of entrepreneurs. My grandfather, my father, and 2 out of my 3 siblings are all entrepreneurs. My oldest son, he's around 6 or 7. He had a stuffed animal that he always liked to sleep with, and he ended up flattening it out. And that's when I came up with the concept, like, whoa, can we make stuffed animals actually functional, not just something you throw in the corner of a bedroom?
Very interesting. So he was using his regular stuffed animal as a pillow, flattened it out after a while, and all of a sudden you're like, you know what? That could be something that we can do a little something else with. That's how you came up with Pillow Pets. Unbelievable. So, Jennifer, you had this idea. It was like, okay, the light bulb went off. Maybe this could be something else. Tell us about that moment when you just decided that maybe this can be something that could be the next step that could end up transforming into the Pillow Pets that you created.
Well, I was always trying to invent stuff. I invented a few products prior. So I realized with this one, I'm like, this is a winner. I have to follow this one through. So I went to a wholesale show up in Las Vegas with a friend of mine. And I knew the first step was to find a plush manufacturer. So that's what I did.
Well, you're saying that you had prior inventions.
Yeah.
Did that you had enough kind of ones that didn't necessarily make it to know that this was the one? What was the difference that you felt between the ones that you did and this one?
There was a few that I came up with that once I made a prototype and I'm like, I didn't love it anymore. I was like, I don't think I would use that. And then I did have another invention that actually I learned my lesson. A large company that I can't name actually ended up taking my invention after I pitched it to them, and they ended up making it without me.
You felt like this was the one. And when you came up with the idea, right away, you knew that you had the steps that you needed to take. So you were looking for a plush manufacturer. Before we get into the details of how you really developed this whole product line and product itself, maybe you could show us a quick demo, because
Sure.
the listeners and the viewers out there, let them see what Pillow Pets is about.
Well, actually, I'll show you the very first one. So the first one we designed was our Snuggly puppy. And as you can see, it's a cute stuffed animal. What's really nice is when you flip it on its back, we added this strap right here. And if you undo it, now it flattens it out like what my son did to his stuffed animal. And it turns into a full-size pillow. So it's also a great travel pillow too. Take it on an airplane, long car rides, and they're also washable.
It looks like you have, I don't know, hundreds behind you. How many different Pillow Pets do you have developed?
I've been told recently that we're up in we've made thousands, because we've done sports teams, we've done our own line, we've done a lot of licensing with Disney, Nickelodeon. So upward over 1,000 different styles.
1,000 different styles. And how long have you been doing this for?
Since 2003.
Wow. Yeah. And how many would you say Pillow Pets have you sold worldwide in all these years?
Up to date, I've been told that we've sold over 100 million units. So yeah.
Wow.
Pillow Pets.
do you what's that feeling like?
It's surreal. I remember the first time when we finally got into mass retail, and it was during the holidays, and I walked into Bed Bath & Beyond, and there was a whole end cap as high as, all the way up 12 feet high of just Pillow Pets. And I remember I took a picture in front of that display, like, wow, my creation is in this store. So it was very surreal. Yeah.
I'm not looking to count your revenue or your profit. The average pillow pet goes for what, about $20?
Actually, at the time when we launched it, they were 20. We're currently at $30, $31.99 actually.
So you've sold over $1 billion of pillow pets.
Wow. That's quick math.
Did you know that? Now let's figure out how much you made. No, I'm only kidding. Let's over $1 billion in sales.
Wow.
Congratulations, Jennifer. That is unbelievable.
Thank you.
And you did this by yourself, or do you have a team?
Yeah, I mean, we have a team. My husband and I work together, and but I'm part of the design process. I create every pillow pet, and yeah.
And does your son feel like he owns the company since he was the one that slept on that pillow, on that stuffed animal?
He has demanded royalties. No.
And you have one son?
No, I have two boys. And it's funny because when my youngest son was 2, I already knew he was going to be an entrepreneur. So he's just started. He's going down that path now.
Very nice.
It's kind of fun to watch.
Now, you mentioned that you have, and I'm looking behind, I see Tigger, I see Clifford. Is that Clifford, the big red dog?
Yes. Yeah.
Care Bear. Is that a Care Bear?
No, we have Trolls. Secret Life. Oh, point over there. Secret Life of Pets. That's from Toy Story. Oh gosh, I'm getting confused here. Toy Story over here. Yeah, we do, like I said, Nickelodeon, Universal, Toothless, from How to Train Your Dragon. And then we have new licenses we're working on for next year. So
when you come up with this idea, you have your own designs that you really want to start with before you can go to a licensor that has those brand properties like Disney and Nickelodeon and those types. So when you first came up with this idea, the first thing you did was you were looking for that manufacturer, that plush manufacturer. Were you looking in the US? Were you looking overseas? It seems like you had some experience kind of sourcing. Maybe you can tell us how you actually found the factory.
So yes, we did have a little bit of experience with importing other, products that we would find. Like I said, I come from a family of entrepreneurs, so I've been a salesman since I was 12 years old. Not because I had to, but because I love just working. So I kind of knew how to find a manufacturer, and so found plush manufacturer. What I liked about this particular manufacturer was the quality of plush that they made. And we built a relationship and ordered our first container.
When you went to them, did you already know the designs that you were going to use?
No, I didn't. I kind of figured a puppy would be a no-brainer. But they helped me because they were already making plush for other companies. So they helped me come up with the first 6 by saying, well, the duck is popular, a cow. So there was, like a farm animal, the cow. So so they definitely helped me with the first 6 characters.
Before you started to even work on those designs to almost verify that this idea could be something, did you really get anybody else's opinion, or did you just say, you know what, I'm just going for it, I don't care what anyone says, here are the 6 designs, I got the factory? Tell us about that kind of balance between thinking about it and moving forward at that point.
It was a gut feeling because I'd been in sales, since a very young age, and I knew I could create a pitch out of this. That's what we called it in the as seen on TV world. I knew this was a pitchable product. So, like how I just showed you. And at the end of the day, I was a salesman, my husband was a salesman, and we figured we would just take the risk because we could sell it ourselves and see what happens. And we were willing to risk buying 5,000 units in one ocean container.
When you had the design now to figure out the size, how the duck and the dog were going to look, how did that experience go? Was there some trial and error there to figure out till you got it perfect, or you pretty much got it?
I mean, we pretty much got it. We did play around with making round ones, but then we realized it would probably be better to look like an actual pillow, because that was going to be part of our pitch. It opens up to a full-size pillow. So yeah, so pretty much right away we knew that we wanted to do a rectangular shape pet.
And did the thought come to mind about intellectual property, protecting your idea with a patent pending with a provisional patent application, design patent? Where did you go with that?
So we didn't do that right away because, at the time, I think it was like we got quoted $5,000. So we did think about it, but we didn't really have the money to spend. And we thought, well, let's see if we sell this first. We knew we wouldn't really be on the radar because we only brought in one container. And so once we knew after the first year of sales, that's when we really started getting copyrights on our designs, applying for the trademark Pillow Pets. And yeah.
The name Pillow Pets is very simple, easy to remember. I'm sure now if people weren't sure that they knew what Pillow Pets were and they looked behind you and they saw that demo, I'm sure they know. It's almost like a nostalgic brand because my daughter is 19 and she knows of Pillow Pets and I knew of Pillow Pets. So I'm sure that the generations now that are kind of turning over, they hopefully are going to continue to show their kids the Pillow Pets, and you're keeping it in front of them because you're very active, continuing to sell hundreds and thousands of designs.
Yeah, and that's what we're seeing now. Is a lot of the kids that grew up with a Pillow Pet, they're now buying Pillow Pets for their kids, and that's really just, it kind of touches my heart because it's just so neat that they're going to pass down what they grew up loving, to their children. So it's like me buying a Barbie doll for my niece. I don't have a daughter.
100 million units worldwide, over $1 billion in sales from Pillow Pets. How did you come up with the name?
So actually, after going to that trade show in Las Vegas, and we found a plush manufacturer on the flight home, which is a short 1-hour flight, that's when I came up with the name. I knew I wanted something descriptive that you could, visualize a pillow pet. What's a pillow pet? So it kind of describes the product. And
did you get your son's approval before you named it?
Absolutely not.
You found the factory, you carved out and sketched out those designs. You started the production. You mentioned you filled the container, and this was in China that you ended up manufacturing?
Yes, and we still do. Yes.
Okay. And this was in 2003. So how difficult was it? I mean, you went to the trade show. Was there anything else that you were doing to figure out what the right factory was?
No, I mean, we were pretty naive at the time. We just figured they had a nice booth. They had beautiful plush. We met with them. We really connected with them. And we just went off of that feeling. Yeah. So we didn't really do any due diligence, nothing, to be honest.
And you had this container of the original 6 Pillow Pets that you were doing.
Yes.
How did you end up figuring out what your distribution was? How did you sell the first batch? And how many was the container? How many fit in for your first order?
I believe it was 5,500 units, and we put that on a credit card. So my background selling as seen on TV products, we did a lot of, fairs across the country, home shows, festivals, and that's where we primarily started. We knew which shows were the best ones in the country, and that's where we booked them. And yeah, that's where we first launched the retail.
The first round, then, you were showing buyers and people in the fair and the trade show. Did you have any consumer response beforehand? Did you sell anything direct to consumer first to gauge the market?
Well, that was our direct to consumer. So I was working the actual, booth at the fair. I was working, eventually we did a mall kiosk program. So it was great because I was on the floor selling to the consumer myself. And then I would hear, do you have an elephant? Do you have, a ladybug? So when you hear it enough, I'd be like, okay, now I know we have to make an elephant next. So that would be my next character. And then someone would say, do you have a hedgehog? Do you have, a bear? So that's how we basically grew the line, was listening to the consumer and what they kept asking for.
And then you started to go to the trade shows, or you continue to go to the trade shows, and then you were getting larger orders. So when you were bringing it to the buyers, what was their response? You already had some traction with success direct to consumer.
Yes.
What was that transition like?
So what happened was, actually, I put on the tag of our animal, because back then it wasn't as popular to put your website address. And people started contacting us and saying, we'd like to buy wholesale. And at the time, we, booked our own booth and we were selling retail ourselves. So I looked at my husband. I said, I'm getting, every day somebody's asking if they can buy from us. They want to book their own booth or their own kiosk. And so we took the leap of faith, and we ended up getting in the wholesale side because of that. So, yeah.
Was it seems so easy so far. Just building up all these different designs, and did that to be able to build a brand and a line of all these different designs was risk, and you were putting risk on top of risk, just adding more SKUs to what you had. What was that like? What was it, I'm just going to continue to go for it? Was there some challenges along the way that kind of help you to make those decisions?
Oh yeah. I mean, every entrepreneur has a challenge. Yeah, definitely. Not every SKU was, selling like hotcakes. But I got better and better at it. And I'm more selective. I only release a handful of new SKUs a year now. There was one year, which was a challenge, that we released, I believe it was about 100 new SKUs. And it was at the advice of someone that we had hired. And so that was a challenge. I definitely learned a big lesson over developing.
And you had an outlet for the ones that weren't selling?
Oh yeah, we liquidated the ones that weren't selling. That's for sure. Yeah, but the ones behind me, these are all good sellers.
Well, you're kind of, in a way, like, you went direct to consumer, then you went to the trade shows and met with the buyers and started selling wholesale.
Yeah.
For what was going on in 2003, and I guess a little bit after that, compared to now, for the inventors, the entrepreneurs, the inspirational people out there that have an idea and they're just thinking about it, or they've come up with an idea at some point.
Yeah.
Like, how much easier is it these days compared to what it was when you first started?
I mean, if you're comfortable with going online, I feel it's a lot easier. You can reach so many more people so much faster, between YouTube and now it's TikTok is the biggest one, for at least for our company. So, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, it's amazing how many people you can reach in one day, where before we were reaching a couple 100,000 people a day at a trade show or at a fair. Now you can reach that easily within minutes.
Can you just give us a quick demo again? Let's
Sure.
see. Let's see another one of the pillow.
This time. So you have your plush, and then, you can cuddle, snug, all kids love the comfort of something soft. Flip it on its backside. There's a Velcro strap here, and it opens up to a full-size pillow. Made of chenille. We've even put a little cover over the Velcro to prevent it from scratching you when you're snuggling it and sleeping with it at night. And it's a great travel pillow. I've traveled all the way to Asia with one.
I was telling one of my friends that I was going to do an interview with you, and he said, "Oh, I had the ladybug." So I'm going to tell him that you showed the ladybug tonight.
Yeah, back in 2008 to 2010, she was our #1 selling pillow. That's been fun over the years to see which ones kind of trend. Yeah.
Very interesting. I'm sure I'm going to bring back some memories for him too. I don't know if he wants me to know that or anybody else to know that, but it's okay. He had a ladybug. Now, as you were expanding, you had the 6 and somebody wanted the elephant, the hedgehog, all these different designs and characters. You really stuck to the pets. You didn't kind of veer away from that, or have you ever thought about moving away from pets?
We did. I've made sweatshirts, I've made purses, backpacks, slippers, and they did okay. But at the end of the day, for the volume that we like to make and manufacture, at the end of the day, this is what drives the company. So we kind of went full circle, and now we're concentrating just on the folding pillow. We also have our sleep time lights, which is a pillow pet. Here, I'll show you one. What am I going to grab? Here's Mickey Mouse.
Let's see.
So this one here actually lights up. This is our sleep time light. So this is our main line now, are the sleep time lights, pillow pets. And then we are talking about bringing back our glow pets, which is a pillow pet that lights up when you squeeze it, when you snuggle it.
Very nice. As you were building, you decided to get Nickelodeon and Disney, and it looks like all these different characters. What was the point? Because, you know, you have inventors, let's say they come up with a really cool can opener, and they say, this can opener, Budweiser is definitely going to want this can opener. Mm-hmm. And they call up Budweiser and they say, hey, I got this great can opener. You want it? And Budweiser's like, hey, I make beer. We don't make can openers. So a lot of inventors out there picture their invention with a brand name on it.
Yeah.
Maybe you can just explain to us your experience with getting into brand property licensing. Now you're the licensee, and the brand is the licensor. So maybe you can explain that to us.
So when we first tried to get the license for Disney, for example, we weren't as well known. It was the first year we went on TV, and they actually said no. They weren't taking any more plush licensors. So we then we became more popular on TV, and with the volume that we did, we became more of a household brand name, I guess you can say. And then they changed their mind. So it wasn't easy at first, but once we got Disney, it was a lot easier to get all the others, to be honest with you, because now you can go in there and that kind of gives you a little ammo.
Right. And you had to match their criteria of what they needed. So every time one of them sells, you have to pay them a royalty.
Correct. Yeah.
Very interesting. You mentioned that you were active on in As Seen on TV in that space and in that world. What did you end up doing? And was that your vision from the start to say, you know what, this definitely needs to be on As Seen on TV?
Not at the beginning, but I did have a friend who had visited our warehouse, and he just got done shooting his commercial. And he said, Jennifer, have you thought about putting this on TV? And I thought, I don't know, because people like to touch and feel, and that's part of the pitch is here, you put it in their hands. And then once they touch it, they're like, oh, wow. And then I thought, you know what, let's just take the risk. So I called a few of the DRTV people that I know and told them how many we had sold. We'd sold 500,000 units before we even went on TV. So they were surprised at that. They were like, oh, that kind of shows that people like your product. And that's where we took the chance.
Very interesting. You've done TV, you've done direct to consumer, you've done trade shows to get into retail, social media on your own website, selling. What do you suggest for an inventor that's starting off, really to test the water, if they were going to turn it into their own business and manufacture it and start distribution? What have you seen, and what do you think is the best way for them?
Oh, the best way. I mean, whenever I see a new product invention, the first thing I ask is how much? So make sure you can make the product at a price that the consumer is willing to pay for it. Definitely, gosh, you have to find a manufacturer. So nowadays, I'm assuming that you can, go on Alibaba, or you can go, on different sites, via internet and find a manufacturer. Probably going to have to go and visit that manufacturer nowadays. I'm not even sure, do they even have wholesale shows here anymore? I don't know, after COVID and everything that's going on. But so you just have to find a good manufacturer and make sure that they, they have all the standards that everybody's looking for, and safety testing and all that. Yeah.
Right. And people don't even realize all the behind the scenes that it takes to end up getting the product. Even, I mean, yours is not that complicated. Maybe it is, but it looks like it would be easy. So tell us what kind of challenges you had along the way. It seemed like everything kind of was in place for you. I know that you had some experience as an inventor before this, but what really goes on behind the scenes that you're pulling your hair out?
Ooh, I mean, for one was money. I remember going to my bookkeeper and saying, Debbie, I need $50,000 by Friday and today's Tuesday, so, I mean, you have to be smart with your money, where you're spending it. Another complication we had, because like what you just said, it is a pretty simple product, that we had a problem with knockoffs. So what we had to do is register. We have copyrights on all of our designs. And like I said, we own the trademark Pillow Pets. So we went to I'm losing, not importers, but oh no, I lost my thought there.
Was it a trade show or was it one of the expos?
No, we actually had to file with immigration. And with that, the imports, where everything comes in, the ports like in Long Beach or Seattle. And so we filed with them, and we actually had to stop knockoffs from getting into the country. So that was a big problem, especially after the second year being on TV, because I mean, you can knock this off pretty easy.
Right. So you could spend your time and energy battling against the knockoffs, but you want to keep moving forward. What was it that kind of turned the corner for you to just keep going?
I just had faith. I wanted a brand. I wanted something, coming from the as seen on TV world, a lot of products would come and go within 6 months, 6 to 9 months. I wanted something that would be around like Barbie doll or Cabbage Patch dolls. I wanted something that would stick. And so it was worth fighting for.
When you first started, did you think you were going to sell over $1 billion of Pillow Pets? It's okay if you did, but I mean, what was your expectations in the beginning?
No. And in fact, at the beginning, I wrote a check to myself. I just wanted to basically put food on the table for my family. That's all I wanted to do. And having that entrepreneurial spirit at the same time, be able to fulfill my creativity. So, no, I didn't have that expectation. It definitely blew that out of the water. I just wanted to live comfortably. and
and the next steps now, you showed a few new lines that are going to be coming out. Are those launching or they already launched?
Yeah, it's ironic because I mentioned TikTok, and in 2016, we had a line of scented pillow pets, and we actually shot a TV commercial, and it didn't do good enough to keep on TV. We'll just put it that way. And then a girl found one, our strawberry cow, and she did a video and it went viral.
Wow.
And like I said, I always listen to the consumer. So through social media, all of a sudden people kept asking us for the strawberry cow. So we're really focused on our scented line because that's been really good for our company the last few years.
That's awesome. There's inventors, entrepreneurs, people out there that had an idea back in the day and now they are looking for their next idea. If you can just give us some final words of wisdom to the inventors, entrepreneurs, anybody listening or watching, give us some advice, Jennifer, to keep us moving forward and to hopefully have the success that you've had. 100 million units, over $1 billion. Give us some words of wisdom.
Being an entrepreneur, yes, we do it for the money, I guess, because you want to put food on the table. But at the end of the day, it has to be your passion. So being an entrepreneur is like riding on a roller coaster. You're going to go up and down hills. You're going to go through turns. You're going to be sideswiped, and sometimes you're going to have to make fast decisions. And as long as you're passionate and true to your product and true to the people around you, just keep on trudging through.
Amazing. Jennifer Telfler, congratulations, creator of Pillow Pets. Thank you very much for being a guest on our show.
Thanks for having me, Brian.
Thank you, Jennifer. And if you would like to be a guest on the Got Invention Show, go to gotinventionshow.com. Thank you. And until then, keep on inventing.